Everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker. I've been trying to get this update out to you guys for the last 2 days or so. I've been getting a lot of questions, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick update about COVID-19 and how it's having an impact on the real estate side of things. First off, we have been still doing buyer showings. I have personally been only doing the buyer showings on a really need to show basis kind of thing. So it's my buyers that I've been working with for some reason really do need to buy real estate, whether we've already sold their property or they're just in a need that they do need to get some real estate right away. It's not just show and tell kind of thing. These guys are serious buyers that are being out there right now. We are taking a lot of precautions when we're doing it. We are making sure with the listing agent that the seller hasn't been out of the country for 14 days. They don't have any symptoms and that they haven't been around anybody that's been outside of the country. We're trying to take the precautions in that kind of way, just kind of pre-qualifying the listing agent about their seller. The other thing that I'm doing is that I've been able to get some medical grade gloves. So for every single showing that we've been going into, we would wear new gloves. I would give my clients new gloves as well. As we're coming out of the showings, we're taking these gloves off. We're sanitizing our hands. We're using Lysol wipes and Lysol spray. So might be a little bit overkill, but we're doing the best that we can given the situation. Also, social distancing. We're keeping 6 feet away, 2 meters away from each other, and we're just giving ourselves that space. That's kind of how the showing side is going right now. In terms of the brokerage operation, kudos to Remax Rouge. It's been business as usual for the most part. They were ahead of the curve, I would say. They actually shut down their offices to the public. All their full-time staff has gone home and working from home. They haven't reduced any hours, so good on them. So we've had some small changes, but the support is there 100% for us. I've been contacted by a couple of the broker managers over there and just asking generally if we need help. Even the admin staff has contacted me, asked if we need any help. So it's been really great in terms of getting the support that I need moving forward with our clients. One thing that's kind of changed, it's a little bit annoying, but I understand it's the best thing for everybody right now, is since the brokerage office is actually closed for the public, the deposits for our sold listings, I actually have to collect them from the buyer, or I have to give the buyer our account number, our trust account number, for them to go into a TD bank and deposit the money directly into there. And then we forward the receipts over to our brokerage and they will produce the receipt for it. So a little bit of changes in how we're handling things there, but other than that, it is business as usual, but working from home for the brokerage anyways. Further precautions now that have been taken as well is no more open houses. I know there was like over 400, I believe, open houses listed on MLS this last Saturday, which is just socially irresponsible. So people shouldn't be really doing those in my opinion. We're not doing them anymore. And I know that even when you sometimes look on realtor.ca, you would see that they have an open house with those flags would pop up on the screen. MLS has basically suspended those for now. So they're really encouraging people not to do open houses because it's just not the right thing to do. That leads us to saying, hey, like, how are we going to overcome this? We still have properties that we need to sell. We've made commitments to our clients, but how can we go about this doing this the safest way and still providing maximum exposure to the property? So I've always kind of done virtual tours and videos for our listings. I've been employing use of a Matterport camera a little bit more, which kind of gets you every little angle of the house. It's like basically Google Street View. You can kind of walk around the house. In fact, you can actually measure walls and things like that just to see if your furniture is going to fit. So it's a really good way to kind of tour a home without going into a home. We also have obviously the electronic signatures and things like that. So this is all going to force us to really become more innovative about how we're going to be presenting our properties online to prospective buyers. It is going to have an impact with us for the partners that we work with. So the stagers, with Doug Ford's announcement coming out, they're not an essential service, so they're not going to be working. We were able to kind of squeeze in a delivery for one of our last listings, but we're going to have to work with the homeowners and some FaceTime with Sadia of the property stagers to kind of figure out what the best way is for them to kind of set up the property as best as we can, just to kind of move things along for them. Other than that, Jonathan Griffith has been nice enough to join us on the calls. He's been giving us an idea from a legal perspective on closing. They weren't allowed to sign electronically before documents, but I think the Law Society has laxed the rules about doing electronic signatures right now, and I believe that they're doing some kind of maybe Skype verification of IDs. I'm not 100% clear on how they're doing that, but I know that they've worked around ways that they can still continue to close. That still should be fine with most real estate lawyers. If you guys do have a closing that's coming up, I would strongly suggest that you call your lawyer and you just ask them if they're still set up, everything's on track, and they're able to still close this transaction. I know one of the things is that when you go get your keys for your new house, you go to a lawyer to pick up the keys. I know that there's been a clause written right now where the keys will be left in the lockbox for you to pick up after they've confirmed that the deal has closed. So there are some changes legally that have been made about that as well. There's also some clauses, I believe 4 clauses that have been written because of this special circumstance. They just generally protect the buyer and the seller in this transaction. If you guys are interested in seeing what those are, just send me a message or leave a comment below, and I'll definitely get those out there just so you guys can give them an eyeball. I think those are all going to be used for any deals that we do moving forward from now. Aside from that, banks are still funding. All indications are that everything they're funding electronically, not having any issues with that. I don't think that they're even expecting to have any issues with the funding electronically. Land registry office is mostly automated, so the land title is still changing. So far, there hasn't been any issues that I'm aware of from actually the closing perspective, but my strong advice is check with your real estate lawyer to make sure that everything is on board and they're ready to close your transaction. If for some reason they're not, feel free to reach out to me. I might be able to help you out, linking you out with another lawyer, possibly Jonathan Griffith. He can help you out with that. So I've got a couple of questions regarding interest rate. We've seen the Bank of Canada drop the overnight lending rate about 100 basis points at this time, but we're seeing maybe the fixed rates go up a little bit by some of the banks. This is just my thought. I'm not an expert at this by any means at all. I'm just thinking that maybe they might be pocketing some of this margin. So they're borrowing the money for less right now from the Bank of Canada, and they're not passing that savings on to the consumer. Maybe because they've taken such a loss in the stock markets, their stocks have gone down. So maybe they're trying to make up for some of that loss based on that. Another reason could be, or in conjunction to, is that maybe they're receiving still a lot of mortgage applications. So they don't really see the need to drop the interest rate because they're not really chasing that business at this point. So I know that there are some banks that have probably lowered their rates. I know last I checked, HSBC had a pretty good rate for a 3-year for somebody that's putting less than 20% down. They had a 1.99 for a 3-year fixed rate, which is, I think, a pretty good rate at this point. I think we'll probably see some stuff happen with the banking side. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but we're going to see something happen over there. The other question I've got is regarding inventory. So over the last few days, and all the time I'm monitoring inventory, but we've seen it kind of stay almost stable, around 11,400 listings available for sale throughout the region. We've kind of seen it come down a little bit in terms of like suspended listings. Suspended listings is likely because people don't feel comfortable having people come through their properties at this point right now, and they are not in a desperate need to sell. So we've seen some suspended listings. They're off the market right now, and likely they'll probably come up when things start to clear up. That's just some of the questions I've gotten. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on all of this. Love to know what questions you guys have. So I'm going to try to see if we can arrange like a Facebook Live to kind of answer all your questions. So let me know. Send me a text, 416-832-2000. Send me a private message. Get a hold of me, drop a comment, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. For now, stay safe, stay home, and remember one thing, get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.